Good afternoon to everybody. I just share the slides now. We are today in the lectures. We are covering the power electronics application on the renewable energy with some case studies. I am Adputaraja, professor in electrical and electronic engineering at the University of Jaffna, and I will be covering in sections like introduction to renewable energy potential in Sri Lanka, then how the demand is increasing and generation is increasing in Sri Lanka, how the government motivation through President His Excellency Manifesto, and what are the limitations when we go for the larger scale power generation, and how the power electronics can help, especially in terms of electrical electronic engineering point of view, to overcome these limitations, and a few attracted places as educational tour if you like to come to Klinachie area. So first part is introduction, renewable energy potential in Sri Lanka. We are blessed with enormous potential for hydropower development, and we have already covered almost all the major hydropower plants possibilities, and we also extracted most of the mini hydro potential areas except few low head sites. When we look from the wind power, we are also blessed with the wind power, especially northwest or central highland area or the south areas. But especially in north and northwest, fantastic wind potential is there with high speed as well as smooth wind because of it is between India and Sri Lanka, very peaceful corridor. As well as it is coming from the sea, so a little bit high density wind also there. When we look from the solar, in overall in the country, solar is very much blessed. North or especially south or southeast area, the solar is very much blessed to the country. Uh, when we look from the energy resources, especially on renewable energy side, our country is blessed with excellent resources. So we have to motivate to extract more and more renewable energy power, whatever the possible ways we have to do that. So when we look from the demand, always when the world demand is always continuously increasing, at the same time our generation also increasing. When we look from the Sri Lankan point of view, how the renewable energy power plant installation is increased from 2003 to 2018, we can see clearly it is going almost towards like a exponential curve, slowly exponential curve. But when we look from the 2020, the Mannar Wind Park at about 100 megawatts addition. So there's a huge wind park concept is been established from 2020 onwards in Mannar. Then further, when we look from the CB long-term generation plan, after 2020 to 2030 or 2036, we can see the enormous development predicted from the renewable energy increase. It has been already published in 2019 CEB long-term plan. So it is going to be increased a lot. Renewable energy power plant installation going to be increased a lot. Even when we look from the near future power plant from the CB long-term plan, closer to Kilnochi area, especially the Punagirian area, about 250 megawatt wind power as well as 150 megawatt solar power is been already planned. So we need more energy, and we also found that there are more and more renewable energy based power plants are coming up. When we look from the government motivation, the His Excellency President's manifesto has clearly explained their prediction is to get about 80% of total renewable energy contribution in 2030, where basically 40% is all coming from the hydro, but the balance 40% supposed to come from the renewable energy sector. So this has the reference and everything. We can read through the full document if you go to the website. So it is also confirmed that the government is motivating towards higher penetration of renewable energy within the next 10 years. So in summary, when we look from this one, it has now it is been creating excellent business opportunity, as well as if you see the recent wind power development projects, private IPP projects, independent power producers component. Now the selling price become lower than the CB average generation cost. That's confirmed that these projects become economically viable whenever we look from the independent power purchase projects agreements. Plus, excellent opportunity for the employment opportunity within the country, as well as it's going to contribute to the GDP growth as well. So there are many benefits when we look from the renewable energy integrations or renewable energy projects. So what are the limitations for larger scale integrations? Especially from electronic engineering point of view, uh, the grid operators are the people who suffer a lot looking from the challenges. The challenges are power system stability, reliability of power, and power quality. Of course, the power, whenever we look from the grid operators' point of view, of course, independent power producers' point of view, they have a lot of challenges on taking the land and implementing or establishing the wind power projects or solar power projects. There are so many challenges, social challenges, environmental challenges are also there. But here I am covering mostly on the electrical electronics point of view, as it is coming falling under the power electronics, supporting of how the power electronics helping for renewable energy power projects. So well, let's see how the power electronics help to overcome these limitations, especially when the power electronics developed together with the wind power generator technologies. It's cleared some of the problems here. The first generation of wind power development generation technology was a fixed speed wind generator technology. Fixed speed means it's just a simple induction generator. So which has very low bandwidth for speed changes. So it's almost like a fixed speed, very negligible bandwidth for the speed changes in its stable operating condition. Therefore, this major disadvantage is whatever the wind power fluctuation coming here will be penetrated to the grid. So, lot of voltage fluctuation, power fluctuation, flaky operation, stability problem, all will come through this kind of technology. So, people start hating the renewable energy power plant at the time of further development. So, when they go for the larger wind power plant using the fixed speed, they are the grid operator had major challenges, bigger and bigger challenges, especially when the fault happened, they are unable to keep up the wind power plant. Then when the fault happened, when the larger power plant from the wind generation trip is created some cascaded power failure in the grid operation. Therefore, they put some strict grid codes. To satisfy the strict grid code, the wind power plant operator has to come with some additional devices like STATCOM or static power compensator together with the breaker resistor to keep up the grid code or to satisfy the grid code to continue their operation. So this become again a big challenge. So the R&D was boosted and it created another second generation of the wind power generation technologies together with variable speed drives. Basically what they did was they opened the induction generator rotor terminals and put some resistors across the rotor terminals. And these resistors are controlled by the power electronic devices. Basically that varies the external resistor value. So this torque slip curve was stretched towards from blue to yellow, blue to sorry red. So basically, you can see that to increase some speed range where the pull-out speed is here. Now the pull-out speed is here, so it can operate little bit longer or wider spectrum of speed by losing some power in this resistor. So that was the second generation of the wind power technologies together with the power electronics, which has gives some relaxation, but however, it is not up to the standard of requested. So then again, third generation of wind power generation came whenever the rotor circuit is open, that is again reconnected to the grid through the AC-DC, DC-AC converter. That called doubly fed induction generator. Induction generator feeding to the grid through the stator circuit as well as rotor circuit. So double effect induction generator. This double effect induction generator has the advantage of shifting the torque slip curve entirely from top to bottom. So it increases the wider spectrum further, further speed ranges increase. So that even the voltage fluctuation was able to little bit eliminated, and the grid stability was able to improve a little bit more, as well as the maximum power extraction also was possible. Whenever we say maximum power extraction, for a specific wind speed, we have to rotate the blades at a specific speed according to the blade design. Then only the maximum power will be extracted from wind to the mechanical energy as a blade. Then it will go to the electrical energy to the grid. So maximum power extraction need to force the blade to operate at a specific speed for a specific wind speed, specific rotational speed of the rotor for a specific wind speed. So that is possible with the power electronic because whenever I extract some power through the rotor circuit, automatically the speed will increase or decrease and finally come to the required speed of the required speed corresponding to the wind speed. So that will help us to extract more power from the wind as well. So then the last generation, the latest generation, become a full converter based wind turbine generator technology where the AC component was completely converted to DC and then DC to AC. So whole power, 100% power was go through the power electronic circuit. AC DC, DC AC converter. That's what the full range of full converter operation was coming. So basically, this has a bigger advantage of decoupling the wind generator operation from the grid operation by a DC link capacitor. So only coupling is power. Even we can put small battery energy storage if we need, if we have more power, more money for preparing this technology up with the more facility. Or we can even, because of the decouple, we can bring down the speed of the generation much lower. So power extraction at lower speed also possible. Further, any kind of fault condition, we can allow the speed to go up as well because it has a decouple operation. Within that control capability, it has increased the control capability much more than the DFIC or the OptiSlip or the F6, the earlier three generation technologies. So it become little bit more comfortable and it almost like a smooth power. Power fluctuation is eliminated or reduce much lower level, as well as flicker is reduced a lot and stability is improved a lot, and even the lower power, lower wind, the power extraction is possible. So there are multiple advantages with this technology. So the wind power become more and more potential. Now let's see improvement of wind generator technology together with the power electronic. How the power electronic improve the wind generator technologies, especially in outcome base. Now I have taught about the technology base. Now I am going to tell about the outcome base. Say wind power generator without power electronic interference become fluctuating power. You can see the first half of the graph is fluctuating power. Second half of the graph where the power electronic is activated, that become more smooth. If I say correctly, basically the short-term fluctuation, that means fast fluctuation can be eliminated through power electronic interface. Basically the power electronics, what it will does is, if we have a energy storage, it will dump the fluctuating component into the energy storage, but which is a little bit expensive. The second part is already we have tons of mass rotating in the turbine blades and the rotor, so that can be used as a flywheel action to store as a kinetic energy and dissipate the kinetic energy whenever the power is less. So the fluctuating component will be eliminated through kinetic energy or the flywheel action, storing as a kinetic energy into the rotationary part of the wind turbine. That is how this smoothing was obtained in terms of conceptual way. Uh, the second part is you can see the reactive power which was fluctuating. Now reactive power is completely zero and no fluctuation at all. That is 100% can be achieved using the power electronics interface. That if we need detail, we can go through detail, but I don't want to go into the mathematical equations or any kind of control operations, which will be always That can be done for people who need more depth understanding. So here, so as a result, when you look from the power quality improvement and the simple control concept, how we achieve the power quality improvement. For example, take a case, one possible is shifting the torque speed curve. As we learned from the double effect induction generator or full range converter, that means the third generation or fourth generation of wind turbines, we can shift the torque slip curve so that you can see the speed variation is larger spectrum. So during that period, you can easily remove the fluctuation by storing the extra energy into the rotating blades or dissipating the extra energy from the rotating blades so that power fluctuation can be eliminated. Once you eliminate the power fluctuation, automatically flicker or voltage flicker, those kind of things will be eliminated. So power quality will be improved. Second part is storing into the energy storage or battery energy storage or dieseling capacity. If you have a larger dieseling capacitor, but those are little bit expensive, but it's still possible. That is also possible. Or we can use, if we have a fixed speed generation as a large wind power plant, then we can put additional sun device connected as a STATCOM or STATCOM with battery energy storage or static work compensator and try to eliminate the power fluctuation. Especially STATCOM with battery energy storage, you can see simply you can maintain the grid voltage and the grid voltage and grid current in phase and constant. Whatever the fluctuating current taken by the wind turbine, whatever the fluctuating current taken by the wind turbine, by injecting the fluctuating component from the STATCOM, you can maintain the grid current at constant value with the in phase with the grid voltage. So basically, unity power factor and constant power can be pumped to the grid. Wherever the fluctuating component comes, it will be transferred between STATCOM and STATCOM battery energy storage and the wind turbine. So this is how the control concepts are working to eliminate or improve the power quality using the power electronic device for the wind turbine latest technologies. Then when we look from how the stability point of view, how we can improve, it is again further challenging. When we look from the torque speed curve of a induction generator, all the stable generating operation is marked in the blue color circle. This is the region where stable generation can be operated. So when we look from that blue color circuit, with whichever the coming as a negative first portion, when you stretch the torque slip curve using the OptiSlip, the second generation of wind power technologies, which we studied today, early part. So the second generation will stretch the wind turbine torque slip curve. By stretching the torque slip curve, enhance operating region of the stable operating region. You can see the pull-out torque is going further away. So we can operate a little bit larger speed range so that stability can be improved. That is one way of uh, improving the stability using the power electronic circuit. Second way is the class 3 or class third generation or fourth generation with DFICO full range converter. We can completely shift the torque slip curve from here to there. So that will allow enhanced operating region much better way than everything else. The earlier one, fixed speed generation, the first generation technology we use, we can put some parallel sun device, basically STATCOM, which is made of total of power electronics with the battery energy storage or breaker resistor, so that they can access the excess power coming from the during the fault time. The excess power cannot be transferred to the grid, so that extra power can be dumped to the breaker resistor, while the STATCOM can pump for reactive power to boost the voltage. So these are the three ways we can improve the stability using the power electronic circuits. Then how we can extract more power from the wind if we use a power electronic circuits. So let's see that one. Especially the double effect induction generator, that means third generation of wind turbine technologies, or the full range induction generator or full range wind turbine technologies, fourth generation of wind turbine technologies can play a major role. For example, you can see the fixed speed generator maximum power extraction curve is this one, the maroon one. But double effect generator, you can see even lower wind speed also we can extract more power, and high wind speed also we can extract more power. So basically, the when we look from the fixed speed and the double effect, just compare these two. Of course, double effect will be little bit expensive turbines, but energy extraction also more. So for a specific site like Narakaliya in Nikavaratia or Rasnakapura, when we look from the fixed speed turbine, if we install 4,380 megawatt hour per year can be extracted, but DFIC will take about 1,000 more, 1,500 more. So 1,500 megawatt hour more. So energy extraction is more because of its power electronics bring the rotor speed very close to the maximum power extraction speed of the specific wind speed, so that it was able to extract more power, as well as low wind speed also it will extract the power, and high wind speed also it will extract more power. That is also another advantage. So that this is how the power electronics circuit help to extract more power from the wind. But however, this is site specific. So depending on the site, we have to study and tell them whether which generation technology will be much benefited with because of double effect will be higher cost than the fixed speed. So depending on the extraction, we have to look from the lifetime analysis as well as cost benefit. I think most of the business expert will be able to do that one. Now we will see how the solar power performance is increased together with the power electronic circuit. Basically, the solar power converters which are connecting between the grid and the solar power panels, the grid tie converters. The grid tie converter basically a DC to AC converter. Sometimes they will have a DC DC converter, then DC AC converter, because to match the solar panel DC voltage to the DC link voltage of the converter, there will be another DC DC converter may come at the front. But whatever saying that, it basically when we model this one, the grid terminal is coming here as a grid terminal voltage, and the tie line grid and the solar the converter, there will be a coupling reactors. Coupling reactor will come as a inductance here, and this whole part will come as a sinusoidal, that means synchronous generator model. So that means induced EMF here and terminal voltage here, and that means it is the internal EMF and terminal voltage as well as coupling reactor. So basically by looking this one, you can go through the fundamental of electrical engineering. There's a 4 quadrant operation. You can either inject active power and absorb reactive power, or inject active power and inject reactive power, or absorb active power and inject reactive power, absorb active power and absorb reactive power. So that means all possible, anything. If we wanted to inject or absorb the active power, inject or absorb the reactive power, always possible. So this power electronic device has a fantastic operation of all 360-degree control. That means anything you want to achieve, you can achieve by properly fixing the operating point at the correct quadrant. So that is always possible because and it is very fast operation, power electronics. So it will always help to achieve whatever we want to do that one. So basically, even the solar maximum power extraction point is there. If you bring the DC voltage to somewhere here, zero current will come from here. So that means power blocking. I'm sorry, the power blocking will be at this point. The zero current injection will come as a power blocking here. So if we wanted to block the power, we can block the power. If we want maximum power extraction, we can bring the operating point here by simply varying the DC link voltage at the solar panel. So that also possible. How we can vary the DC link voltage? Very simply, you can see here. If I reduce the power injection here, automatically DC link voltage will increase. If I increase the power injection here, DC link voltage will decrease. So that is how the DC link voltage is balanced to the solar panel, and solar panel terminal DC link voltage can be adjusted according to bring it to the desired value. So now you have understood how the power electronic device, which is integrating between the solar panel and the grid, that means tie line converters, play a major role on all possible control operation to get the maximum benefit out of the solar panel. So now we will talk about the last component on reliability issues. Reliability issues are the major issues which cannot be done independently from the renewable energy power plant alone. It needs some kind of a hybrid operation. That means we have to operate together with other power plant, available power plant in the system. So that is possible with the supervisory level control through smart grid. you can see the smart grid play a major role on monitoring how the other power plants are operating and transfer the signal to the control operating center instantly, so the control operating center can select the decision on which power plant has to inject how much power. So it will be easy to control through the supervisory level, where the smart grid play major role. And whenever we decide this much of power need to be come to get that power, the power electronics operation at that specific power plant will bring the power plant quickly to that set value or reference value of the power injection, so that the smart grid concept plays major role on supervisory control or integrating all power plants together with the renewable energy power plants. So whenever we talk about the reliability, renewable energy power plants alone cannot help a lot. It needs some hybrid operation or combined operation of other power plant where the reliability can be maintained. That has to be studied very carefully, because other power plant may have different power purchase agreement, but all has to be studied in a centralized operation by the, maybe here like CEB, grid tie operator has to look into that one. So basically what we have seen is now the power electronics together with the renewable energy power plant technologies or generation technologies brought the renewable energy power plants more closer to the conventional power plants in terms of power quality improvement, reliability improvement, or stability improvement, or energy extraction, but it is for a short period of time. If you wanted to go for a longer period of time, the operation of combined together with other power plants need to be considered very seriously, which at least even the short period of time, whenever it's become like a conventional power plant, that minimize or relax the power grid operators a lot through the through avoiding some fast transient challenges. Now let's see. I will just quickly go through, take a minute to show you how the Faculty of Engineering, University of Jaffna could be able to help you on having an educational tour on site visits. We have a very good solar measuring station at the Kilinochi, where it was installed by the Sustainable Energy Authority together with the Ministry of Power and Energy with the help of Asian Development Bank from 2013 onwards. Then we had a very good rooftop solar panel with the help of again ADB with the Ministry of Power and Energy through the Sustainable Energy Authority. This was installed in all four universities like Ruguna, Moratuwa, Peradeniya and Jaffna engineering faculties. So you can see how the rooftop power plants are performing in all part of the country, all four region of the country. And there are in Jaffna, we have Jaffna mean Kilinochi, we have 55 kilowatt of string converter configuration rooftop power plant, solar power plant, and 5 kilowatt microgrid configuration rooftop power plant, so that when you come there you can visit there. We have a SCADA connected system, all measured and recorded. Any kind of power variation can be checked through. And with the help of Windforce Private Limited, we have installed a 5 kilowatt turbine, wind turbine grid connected, which also measuring and we can monitor the power generation through this one as well. I'm very pleased to say that we are the first people installed the floating solar in the country, where we have a very small pond. We got 46 kilowatt floating pilot power plant with the help of government of Norway and current AS Solar Private Limited from Norway. That is also operating very well now, grid connected floating solar power plant with the help of ACA as well as CEB. Then another hybrid power plant is operating with battery, diesel power plant, solar PV, and wind turbine in Eluvadivu, small island in north, where people can go and see if they like to see the combined operation of all four power plant, which will be good to learn from how the reliability can be improved. This island was taking about 2 hours electricity, but now it is taking almost 24 hours. Those are the reliability study can be done through this one. And if you need to learn more on this, whatever available in our faculty, please go to the website. You can learn through that one. And any other question, you can divert to me through the email, or I'm happy to answer in the question time. Thank you very much. I have completed sharply on 30 minutes. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for it. Thank you.